computer. Oh yeah. Did you guys hear that lady say that too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it tells you that it's being recorded. Yeah.
Nice. I was just checking if it was a secret. Okay, so I'll do like a quick high level of like how I set this up. And you can use it to kind of inform how you want to do your assignments and kind of pick whatever way you want to do it. You'll notice the animation. So next week, I just want the block out working in the game. You could start animating if you wanted, but really I just did one. That's the idle pose. I can explain how to build that idle pose to match it. I'll just walk you through what I did. And then I just had him punch the wall and then go back and then go back to idle. And then as soon as this anim ends, then he's just walks, the door opens, he walks through the door. So the point of this assignment is not to have like crazy complicated animation, is to go through the process of triggering anim in a game, like start to become a game developer kind of thing. So that's the anim. You guys know how to export anims and import them. When you right click on the anim, you go create anim montage. That makes this thing, which is just like an anim sequence, but you actually put the anim sequence in the montage, kind of like its own special timeline. So like, for example, if I dropped the jump in here and then a third person run and then a walk, it would play all the way through this thing. So it's a punch, it's a fall, it's a run, it's a walk. I'm gonna save this example. I want to run this again in game. It'll do that whole montage, I think. There's the fall, the run. Okay. Because that is scripted to play this process. And then this open door guy here, that's the thing, that's the command it's kind of communicating to the door to open the door. And I can show you how that works. I'm just gonna add a new notify. I just right click in the notify track. New notify. Oh, missed it. New notify. Test 100. So we'll see that pop in another spot. So that's the animation. And then you'll notice right here, there's this thing called slots. There's a default slot and a special action slot. Over here, there's a blueprint. This is the like logic the character uses to animate. I think I might have showed you like a high level of this before, because this has like an idle, a jump start, a loop.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then as like selected viewport, I'll just show it really fast just for the benefit of the video. As I'm doing stuff, you can see the character, and as I jump, the character jumps, and you can see in that state machine on the right, it's going through there. So you can like replace jumps and do other fun stuff. And then this is the run. So you can see the speed ramp up, that little green diamond thing. So as I run forward, it's going through the process. And if I have a joystick, I think I have a controller. Let's see if this is plugged in. I just have like just a regular Xbox controller, just plugged to your PC if you have one. If not, you're stuck using a keyboard. But if I just press a little bit, I'm only walking, and you can see when it matches up, it's like the walk, it's playing at 1, and when I'm jammed all the way, it's like it plays the run, and then it'll kind of ramp up the speed. So that's called a blend space. But we're not messing with blend space right now. But it's fun to dig through this and kind of figure out exactly what's happening. So, but if you guys look at your blueprint, it'll kind of look like this. It'll just go bam and then output. This is like the end result. So you won't have a slot. So if you don't have a slot, the montage won't play. And you can see, I think the timing is still going to be there, but it won't play on the character. Yeah, there it goes. So it's going to hold probably just as long as that montage is, but he never plays the anim because the anim is trying to play on whatever slot you set on the character. So this is a really like default base behavior in Unreal. So you'll see this all over the place. in tutorials, and you can just look up like what does a slot do or what does a montage do or all that stuff, and people will explain that in more detail. It took me a long time, to be honest, to figure out what exactly a montage is and a slot is, and even the visual scripting system, which I'm going to do next. So let me look at these notes here. What did we do? Create an anim montage. Okay, we did that. Add a default slot to the blueprint. Oh, here's another way to find the blueprint, because I found it by opening an anim and then clicking blueprint. Another way is to click on the character, and it says right at the top of the list, it says anim class, third person anim blueprint. If you hit that magnifying glass, then you can open the blueprint. That's this asset. It's the same thing. It's just a different way to open it up. Okay, so yeah, this says, you just right click and go. I didn't show this part. You right click and just type in default, and then click get class default. Nope, not that one. Slot default, and then this slot you can change. I added a slot, but for this, you guys will probably just be using a default slot, and then plugging this dude up here, and then this dude up here, and then you're good to go. That's the slot. What's next? So this is the fancy part, but it's very similar to the tutorial we did already. Oh, that sucks. I can't look at this. If you click on that, it doesn't get bigger. I wonder if I can make it bigger here.
I mean, you could, I think you just like right click and then like open image.
Maybe. I'm used to just clicking on it and getting bigger. Let's see if this works. No, it didn't work. Open image in new tab. Oh, it just opened on this. So that's cool. You could save the picture. So yeah, we updated the enum thing. I'll show this in a reel in a second, but this is just like a cheat sheet for you. AI move to target point 1, play montage. This is the new thing on the mesh. And then you plug the montage that we made right in there. And then when that's completed, you just go and move to another point. You guys can get.
So the montage would be that the default slot right there.
No, this thing. When you right click on a anim sequence and you go create this thing that was like this stuff, this animation timeline thing, that's the montage. And then in the montage is where you set the slot. You set the slot right here, because you're telling this montage to play on this slot.
And then when it passes through default slot, that plays the montage.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because you can do fancy stuff where you say only play on spine up. So you can play that montage and while a character is walking, and then it'll play on the spine and the arms and the head, but the legs will still be the walk animations. See, that's called layered animations. Okay, so here's my scripting. Oh, I had to go into the enum. And everybody's setup might be a little different. Unless it's exactly the same thing, you might have your own different setup. But I did the thing, like the tutorial had us make this stuff. So I added an open door here that let this state added that open door. Then I created an event. He walks us through how to do that. I threw it on the bottom. I threw it, not the patrol. Oh, here it is, open door. This is what was just a screenshot of go to this spot, play this montage, and go to this spot. And then when I drop this guy on, you set the AI state and you set the 2 target points, and then that's what makes him walk. This is a new thing. To get the door to open, I didn't put in the doc, but depending on what you're trying to do, we can make stuff like if you want him to like stomp the ground, and then we can just like spawn a explosion at his feet or something. We can figure that out. But this is playing off what's called a level sequence. That's this little um, what's it called? I forgot what those things are called. Clapboard. It's called a clapboard. There's a page coming up about cinematics. Level sequence. UE4. But you can just Google how to use level sequence. I'm just gonna, if you want more information, I'll try and put up a tutorial about all this later. I might just throw this video up. Let's see. Hold on. What that
So
looks.
that like the little like clapboard, like the level sequence thing, it just acts as like a trigger box or something.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Like when
I'll
yeah,
get there.
like when,
It plays a timeline. Here we go. So this is what a level sequence looks like. I'll show you in a sec. But if you want to know more about it, you can just Google it. But I'll just show you in the engine. So if you right click here, you can go animation level sequence. And that made a new level sequence, and then you just drag it in the map. But what I did is I've already made this. I named it door open. Let me just do a new one because I think it's easier to understand. Animation, because it's really quick. It depends on what you're doing, obviously. If it's a more complicated door slide down, like maybe I wanted it to slide down instead of up. So you can grab the door over here in the world outliner, and I didn't name it well, but whatever. So it dragged it in, and it comes with this transform thing, and I can set keys. So I'm going to set a key. I moved this on accident. It works similar to Maya, where there's like a start frame and an end frame. I'm going to set a key on 0 because that's the closed door state. And then at the end of it, I want it to close again. It doesn't have to do that. That's what I want. I'm going to slide it down instead of up. I like leaving it like visible so you know it's there still. I don't know if this is going to break or not. I haven't actually tried it. Okay, so it slides down. Copy, paste to keep it down. It's all really similar to working in the graph editor in Maya. Nothing's like too crazy. And then now it's slid back up. Okay, so this is slide down, walk forward, slide back up. Save it. I'm just going to go to the guy here, and instead of door open, I'll set it to door slide down. Why didn't it show up there? Oh, okay, it just has a picture. That's fine. So that's set to that. I think it still might work, but that is in the level blueprints, I think. Let's see. Is it? Forget where I put. No, I was trying to put it here and it wasn't working. Did I put it on the characters and in blueprint? What's all this madness? Oh yeah, anim notify open door. Nice. Create level sequence player and then play. I was actually surprised this works. So like, for example, if I right click here, I remember that notify was called test 100. So I just typed in test 100 and I can do event anim notify test 100 and then go level sequence. Create level sequence player. Put in the door slide down, and you have to pull off of return value for play. A lot of this I had to like Google it each step at a time because you know it's easy to forget these things because there's a lot of commands and stuff. Okay, so when it hits this notify, the door is gonna slide up, and this one's gonna make it slide to the left. So in this case, it'll actually, I wonder if it's going to slide left and then, I know it's sliding down. So I wonder if it's going to slide left then down. This should be interesting. I haven't tried this. Oh, I got a compiler error through this little diamond. I think that's because I broke something here. I think it might be these two notifies. Nope. Conduit will never be taken. What is this? Did I do something on accident? I'm in conduit default. What the heck? Oh, I made this on accident. I was just clicking on these things in the warnings to figure it out. Jump start conduit. Oh yeah. Oh no! Ah, crash. Well then, I can't show you that, but those are all the steps. That was gonna work, I swear. This is what happens when you don't save. You have to start over.
It's the journey, not the end.
But that's like the really fast, high level how to trigger an anim in the game. So I would do from here, like, let me know.
Oh, I can restore these. This is cool. I wonder what happens. Let's see.
It doesn't work.
Something. Who knows? I've got door slide down still. Nice. I've got a double check. This had a compiler error, which it still does. Event graph. Let me see if I can delete it. Anim graph. Delete Mr. Conduit. Compile. Save. Yeah, cool. No warnings. So that was the issue. Oh, you'll notice the in the characters blueprint data, there's anim graph and there's event graph. The event graph is where that like play level sequence scripting is, and you can play montages from here too. Almost everything in Unreal has an event graph, so it's just like a generic blueprint screen that's all over Unreal. Anim graph is specific to how the logic of how animations are playing on characters. So that's why when you see me clicking back and forth between the two things, I've just done this enough to remember what's where. So it takes a while to figure all this out. So I know it feels kind of intimidating, but this is because this is a simple level and there's not that much in this demo level that Unreal has provided. It's a little bit easier to get your head wrapped around it, but it's still, I think, a lot to take in for new people. Okay, let's see if it's working. Let's see if it goes left and then down. Come on. No, it went down right away. Still went left and down, partly down. Yeah. So you can see it's all messed up. This happens in games all the time. I'm gonna delete all the things. So he just punches the door. I'm gonna run something off of test 100. Instead, I deleted that other notify. Now I'm gonna run it, see if that worked. No, because the door's down by default. Why is it? I think because that level sequence is, I think it's because this is open on the screen already. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna save my map. Let's run it again, see what happens. Yeah, nice. Oh, you know what else I did is the door has no collision. There's some things where like, I don't know how to do this, so I'm just doing it the cheesy way. Things will default with collision. That's right here. Collision presets, default. He won't be able to walk through it because the nav is not dynamic. Just to keep this, video games are fun. Show navigation. So this is the nav. This is no. That's the space that AI thinks they can walk. Actually, I wonder if it goes away. Oh, it's still here. I wonder if it shows up at some point. Yeah, so the nav is not dynamic. So the nav doesn't like reevaluate itself. So nothing is telling AI that it's safe to walk through that space. But when I go and tell the collision to be no collision, it builds nav right there, so then it allows itself to walk through. But there's no collision stopping the player. So that's a level of detail that I have not yet been able to figure out. It's probably not that big of a deal. I just, at some point you got to leave stuff for the programmers and designers to do their job.
Hey,
A lot of the
Professor,
time, a lot of the scripting setup stuff is handled by a technical designer or a level designer or programmer. But the more the animation setup scripting stuff, the more like you'll be empowered to know how to do more things when you're making games, or you'll understand like what it is to do the other side of the animation development in games. So it's all good stuff. Okay. Was that super crazy, Wade?
Not really. Yeah, I mean, I can see it coming together and like what all these things